The castle is quieter than you've ever known it. Not the peaceful kind of quiet that usually settles over Hogwarts after curfew, filled with distant whispers and the occasional creak of old floorboards. It's the kind of silence that makes you feel as though something is waiting. You pull your robes tighter around yourself as you make your way through the dimly lit corridors. The sconces lining the walls cast flickering pools of gold across the stone floor, causing shadows to dance along the walls with every step you take. Your footsteps echo softly through the empty passageway. Usually, Hogwarts at night feels comforting. Like home. Tonight, every corridor feels too long. Every shadow feels darker. Every corner seems to hide something unseen. Somewhere out there, Harry is with Professor Dumbledore. The thought twists painfully in your chest. Hours ago, your brother had disappeared through the castle with Dumbledore, leaving behind only vague reassurances and an uneasy feeling you haven't been able to shake since. Every passing minute only makes your imagination worse. You continue walking. Past silent suits of armor. Past empty classrooms. Past portraits whose occupants have long since gone to sleep. The castle seems almost abandoned. Your fingers tighten around your wand. You tell yourself you're being ridiculous. Harry has faced danger before. More times than anyone should. But tonight feels different. You can't explain why. The unease has followed you all evening, lingering in the pit of your stomach, no matter how hard you've tried to ignore it. And then there's Draco. Your pace falters slightly at the thought of him. You haven't seen him properly in weeks. Not really. Every attempt to talk to him has ended the same way. A turned shoulder. A hurried excuse. A door closed before you could reach it. The memory stings more than you'd like to admit. Part of you is still angry. Another part is simply hurt. Because despite everything, despite the arguments, the distance, and the unanswered questions, you miss him. You miss the boy who used to linger beside you after classes. The boy who smirked whenever he managed to make you laugh. The boy who looked at you as though you were the only person in the room. Lately, it's felt like he's been trying to erase himself from your life. And somehow that hurts far more than outright rejection ever could. A cold draft sweeps through the corridor, pulling you from your thoughts. Ahead, the spiral staircase leading toward the astronomy tower waits in silence. For a moment, you simply stare at it. The urge to turn around is sudden and inexplicable. A strange instinct warning you that something isn't right. That tonight is going to change everything. You swallow hard. Then force yourself forward. The final stretch of stairs seems to go on forever. Round and round the narrow spiral climbs, the stone steps worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. The higher you ascend, the colder the air becomes. A draft slips through the ancient tower walls, brushing against your skin like icy fingers. You shiver. Not entirely from the cold. The uneasy feeling that has followed you through the corridors of the castle only grows stronger with every step. Your hand tightens around the railing as you continue upward. The castle below has become almost completely silent now. No distant voices. No laughter. No movement. Only the soft echo of your own footsteps. Then finally, the staircase ends. You emerge onto the observation deck of the astronomy tower. Immediately, cool night air rushes over you. The sky above is breathtaking. Thousands of stars glitter across the darkness like scattered diamonds, stretching endlessly beyond the castle. For a brief moment, you simply stand there, trying to calm the anxious knot twisting inside your chest. The moon hangs high above Hogwarts, bathing the observation deck in silver light. The familiar sight should be comforting. Instead, it only makes the tower feel strangely isolated. You slowly move toward the stone railing. Far below, the ground spread out beneath you. The black lake shimmers beneath the moonlight. The forbidden forest stands dark and watchful in the distance. Everything appears peaceful. But your heart refuses to believe it. You rest your forearms against the cold stone and stare out across the grounds. Please be okay, you whisper. The words disappear into the wind. You aren't entirely sure whether you're talking about Harry or Draco. The thought of him sends a familiar ache through your chest. You close your eyes briefly. Your thoughts drift back to the beginning of the year, to stolen conversations in empty corridors, late night walks through the castle, the rare smiles he only seemed to show around you. You remember how easy everything once felt, how effortless it was to make him laugh, how natural it felt whenever he reached for your hand. Now every interaction feels like walking through shattered glass. You don't understand it. And perhaps that's what hurts the most. The not knowing. The uncertainty. The feeling that he's carrying something enormous and refusing to let you help. A sudden gust of wind whips across the tower, causing you to pull your robes tighter around yourself. Your eyes flick toward the stairwell. Nothing. Just shadows. The tower remains empty. Still. Silent. It's as if something is about to happen. You glance back toward the grounds. The lake ripples beneath the moonlight. Far away, the lights of Hagrid's cabin glow warmly against the darkness. Everything looks normal. You begin pacing slowly around the edge of the tower. Anything to distract yourself. Anything to stop imagining worst-case scenarios. Harry injured. Harry trapped. Harry, no. You force the thoughts away. He's fine. He has to be. Minutes pass. Maybe 10. Maybe 20. You lose track. The only sounds are the wind and the occasional rustle of your robes against the stone floor. Then, a noise. Faint. Distant. Your head snaps toward the stairwell. At first, there's nothing. Then you hear it again. Footsteps. Coming from below. Fast. Uneven. Your heart immediately begins to pound. Something about them sounds wrong. Not calm. Not steady. Urgent. Desperate. You take a cautious step toward the stairwell. The sound is almost at the top now. A terrible sense of dread settles over you. And then, crack. A deafening sound splits the night. You gasp and stumble backward as two figures suddenly appear out of thin air on the observation deck. One collapses immediately. The other falls with him. Your eyes widen in horror. Harry! You rush forward. Your brother looks exhausted. Pale. Shaken. And clutched tightly in his hand is a golden locket. The Horcrux. Your relief lasts only a second. Because then you see Dumbledore. And the blood drains from your face. Professor. Something is horribly wrong. His face is ashen, one hand blackened and lifeless, the other clutching his chest. I'll get Madame Pomfrey, you say, rising. No, Dumbledore says as he catches your arm. Severus. Severus is who I need. Snape? Why does he want you to get Snape and not Madame Pomfrey? You exchange a confused look with Harry. Before you can question it, more footsteps echo from the staircase. Someone's coming. The same person you heard coming up the stairs just minutes ago. Dumbledore straightens. Harry. YN. Stay below and don't make a sound. Professor, Harry protests. Please, Dumbledore says quietly, cutting him off. There is little time. The weight of his pleas stops any argument. After hesitating for just a few seconds, Harry grabs your wrist, leading you toward the stairwell. You glance back one last time. Dumbledore stands alone beneath the moonlight. A knot of dread tightens in your chest. Come on, YN, Harry urges, and you follow him down. For a few moments, neither of you speaks. Then, Harry, what happened? You whisper as you reach the platform below the observation deck. He runs a hand through his hair. It was bad, he admits. We found the Horcrux, but Dumbledore had to drink something. Some kind of potion. It nearly. He swallows hard before looking up, meeting your eyes. He's really weak. Your stomach sinks. And we left him up there? He told us to, he replies. You sigh gently, knowing that he's right. And whoever's coming up the stairs right now could be dangerous for not only Dumbledore, but you and Harry as well. I just want tonight to be over, you murmur. Harry gives a tired laugh that isn't a laugh at all. Agreed. Then. More footsteps. Slow. Measured. Coming up the stairs. Harry immediately raises his wand. Shadows stretch across the curved wall. And then you see him. Platinum blonde hair. Pale skin. Draco Malfoy. Your heart stops. Draco, you whisper as he steps onto the observation deck and comes face to face with Dumbledore. Well, Draco begins, pointing his wand at Dumbledore. Good evening, Draco, Dumbledore greets calmly. What brings you here on this fine spring evening? Draco stiffens, his wand wavering. Who else is here? I heard you talking. The wind tugs at his robes, but he barely seems aware of it. Your focus is fixed on him. As you watch, you don't even realize you've stepped forward until Harry grabs your arm and pulls you back into the shadows. Stay hidden, he whispers urgently. You can't go over there. But you're barely listening, your eyes locked on Draco. Your chest tightens. You can't just stand here and watch him face this alone. Without thinking, you step forward again, which causes Harry's grip to tighten on your arm. No, he whispers again, voice full of urgency. You gently pull free, unable to look away. You shift to where you can see him through the cracks of the floorboards of the platform above. Draco's breathing is uneven. A sheen of sweat glints along his hairline. His jaw is clenched, and his eyes flicker with something raw and desperate. Oh, Draco, you whisper, tears running down your cheeks. Draco, Dumbledore starts again. You are no assassin. How do you know what I am? I've done things that would shock you. Draco exclaims. Like cursing Katie Bell and hoping that she'd return a cursed necklace to me? And replacing a bottle of mead with one laced with poison? Dumbledore asks, causing your eyes to widen. Forgive me, but I cannot help feeling that these actions are so weak that your heart can't really have been in it. He trusts me. I was chosen. Draco exclaims back before he pulls up the sleeve of his shirt. Moonlight spills across his exposed forearm. And there it is. The dark mark. A skull and serpent burned into pale skin. Your breath catches. You finally understand. He wasn't pushing you away because he stopped caring about you. No, you whisper, covering your mouth with your hand. No, Draco. Then I shall make it easy for you, Dumbledore says, slowly reaching for his wand. Expelliarmus, Draco says, pointing his wand at Dumbledore's, which goes flying to the side. YN, Harry's whisper cuts through the ringing in your ears. You turn toward him, tears blurring your vision. His expression shifts instantly. Without hesitation, he pulls you beneath the invisibility cloak. I've got you, he murmurs as his other hand raises his wand toward the tower above. Ready. You feel the tension in him immediately. If Draco makes the wrong move, if Dumbledore is in danger, Harry will act. You know that. And it hurts. You press your hands into Harry's robes as he holds you close, caught between fear for Dumbledore and the ache in your chest every time you look at Draco. Carefully, you lift your gaze toward Draco again. Moonlight washes over him. His sleeve remains pushed back, exposing the dark mark on his wrist. His wand trembles as he struggles to keep it aimed at Dumbledore. He looks overwhelmed. Like he's carrying far more than anyone his age should have to bear. You want to call his name. Want to tell him he isn't alone. Instead, you remain hidden, watching helplessly. Very good, Draco, Dumbledore says gently. Draco's jaw tightens. His wand dips slightly. Even from here, you can see the conflict written across his face. Fear. guilt, desperation. But whatever choice stands before him, he clearly believes he has no way out. The silence between Draco and Dumbledore stretches thin and fragile. And then, a sound. The unmistakable creak of the tower door opening. Draco's head snaps toward it. Dumbledore's gaze follows. Behind you, Harry goes rigid as footsteps begin to climb the spiral staircase below. You're not alone. There are others, Dumbledore says, sounding mildly surprised. How? The vanishing cabinet in the room of requirement. I've been mending it, Draco replies, his voice shaky. Let me guess. It has a sister, a twin. Dumbledore asks. Borgin and Burks. They form a passage, Draco states, confirming Dumbledore's theory. Ingenious, Dumbledore says. Then his voice softens. Draco, years ago, I knew a boy who made all the wrong choices. Please, let me help you. There is no anger in his voice. Only understanding. For a moment, something flickers across Draco's face. Doubt. Longing. I don't want your help, he snaps, though the words sound more desperate than angry. He swallows hard. Don't you understand? He whimpers, tears brimming in his eyes. I have to do this. I have to kill you, or he'll torture and kill her in front of me. The confession tears out of him. Not with hatred. With terror. His wand wavers, knuckles white around the handle. Draco, you whimper as your hand flies to your mouth, tears filling your eyes again. Everything makes so much sense now. The distance. The silence. The way he refused to look at you all year. He was trying to protect you because Voldemort threatened your life if he didn't kill Dumbledore. You stare at him beneath the moonlight, watching the impossible weight settle across his shoulders. Every instinct in you screams to run to him, to tell him he doesn't have to face this alone. But you remain frozen beneath the invisibility cloak while Harry has his arm around you protectively. Your breathing turns shallow. Your stomach twists painfully. And then, you feel it. Harry's gaze. You don't even have to look to know he's watching you. His wand remains raised, but part of him has turned fully toward you. He understands. Because he knows what it feels like to have someone you love used as leverage. And now he's watching you break under it. Then think Draco, Dumbledore says gently, causing you to look up at him and Draco again. Is this what she'd want? Is this the choice she'd want you to make? Draco lowers his eyes, and for several long seconds, he says nothing. Then he looks up, tears slipping down his cheeks. I can't lose her. The words are barely audible, but they hit harder than anything else he said. In that moment, all thoughts of Voldemort, Death Eaters, and impossible choices fade away. He isn't thinking about glory, or loyalty, or proving himself to his family. He's thinking about you. Only you. And that's what destroys you. The memory of Harry's words from days earlier crashes into your mind. I can't lose you, YN. You remember the way his voice had tightened when he said it. The fear he tried to hide. The way you told him he wouldn't. Now you're hearing the same fear from Draco. The realization shatters something inside you. Both of them are terrified of losing you. At the thought, your knees give out and you sink to the cold stone floor beneath you, a sob escaping as you curl inward, trying to muffle your sobs. YN, you hear Harry's voice say from beside you as he kneels down next to you, his hand sliding from your shoulder down to your forearm, fingers firm but careful as he tries to pull you up to your feet again. Come on, he breathes, voice tight but steady. When you don't move, his grip on you tightens just slightly as he shifts beside you, one arm still wrapped protectively around you while the other keeps his wand raised. He's trying to do both at once, protect you and be ready, and you can feel the strain. But you just don't have the strength right now. Your limbs feel heavy. The cold from the tower floor barely registers compared to the ache inside your chest. Your hands remain pressed to your face, breath hitching uncontrollably as tears continue to spill. Every attempt to steady yourself only seems to make the sobs worse. Harry tries to help you to stand again, more urgently now, fingers curling more securely around your arm, but your knees buckle again. The emotional weight is too much. Draco's voice, "I can't lose her," repeats in your mind like a curse. After a moment, Harry gives up trying to pull you to your feet and simply wraps an arm around your shoulders, holding you upright instead. "I've got you, YN," he whispers to you. His wand remains pointed upward. "Ready. Watching. Please. Please don't make him do this. Please let there be another way." Your fingers tighten around the fabric of Harry's sleeve. His entire body is tense. Waiting. Watching. Ready to act at the first sign of danger. The silence stretches. Long. Painful. Fragile. Like a single thread holding everything together. And then it changes. At first, it's almost imperceptible. A shift in the air. A heaviness settling over the tower like a storm cloud. The feeling crawls down your spine immediately. Dread. Pure dread. Then come the footsteps. Slow. Confident. Echoing up the spiral staircase. You look up just as Draco turns toward the sound. The little color left in his face drains away. His wand lifts instinctively. A dark silhouette appears at the top of the stairs. A familiar laugh cuts through the silence. High, sharp, and unmistakably unhinged. Your entire body goes rigid at the sound of it. You know that laugh. Both you and Harry tense as Bellatrix Lestrange steps fully into the moonlight above you. "Well, look at what we have here," she smiles as her gaze settles immediately on Draco. On his hesitation. On the wand still pointed at Dumbledore. Rage surges through you. Before Harry can stop you, you shrug off the invisibility cloak and surge to your feet, raising your wand, pointing it straight at Bellatrix. "Well done, Draco," Bellatrix says as she walks up to him, kissing him on the cheek, causing anger to course through your body when you see him flinch. "Good evening, Bellatrix," Dumbledore says calmly. "I think introductions are in order, don't you?" "Love to, Albus," Bellatrix replies lightly. "But we're on a tight schedule." She turns back to Draco. "Do it." Draco doesn't move. His wand remains raised, but he says nothing. He doesn't have the stomach for it, one of the Death Eaters sneers. Just like his father. "I'll finish him myself." "No," Bellatrix snaps. The Dark Lord was clear. The boy has to do it. You tighten your grip on your wand, fighting the urge to hex her. Then Harry suddenly points his wand behind you. You spin around. You freeze as you're greeted by Snape, who stands at the foot of the stairs, his wand aimed directly at you and Harry. For a brief moment, nobody moves. Then Snape lowers his wand and presses a finger to his lips. Quiet. And then, without a word, he turns away from you and Harry and climbs the stairs. "Go on, Draco." "Now!" Bellatrix shrieks above you, causing you to point your wand at her again. If she makes one move toward Draco or Dumbledore, one, you'd fire. You won't hesitate. Draco's breathing catches. His wand wavers. But before he can do or say anything, "No!" Snape's voice cuts through the chaos. The single word silences the tower. He steps into the moonlight, black robes billowing softly behind him. His expression is unreadable. "Severus," Dumbledore says gently. The way he speaks Snape's name sends a chill through you. Not accusing. Not frightened. Knowing. The two men hold each other's gaze, and something silent passes between them. Something final. "Please." The word is soft. Deliberate. Not a plea for mercy, but a request. A promise being honored. Your pulse pounds in your ears as Snape steps in front of Draco. Draco slowly lowers his wand, looking as though the weight of it has finally become too much to bear. Then Snape raises his own. There is no hesitation, no uncertainty, only unwavering resolve as his dark eyes lock onto Dumbledore's. Avada Kedavra. The jet of green light strikes Dumbledore squarely in the chest. For a split second, time seems to stop. Framed against the flash of emerald light, the headmaster is lifted from his feet before toppling backward over the battlements and disappearing into the darkness below. A scream catches in your throat. Your hand flies to your mouth again as you stare at the empty space. Gone. Beside you, Harry goes rigid, and for one terrible moment, the tower falls silent. Then Bellatrix lets out a triumphant shriek, shooting the dark mark high into the sky, its emerald serpent winding through the skull's jaws. The glowing symbol illuminates the tower in a ghoulish light. Death. Victory. Terror. Everything Voldemort wants the world to see. The sight turns your stomach. Your eyes find Draco again. He hasn't moved. His face has gone deathly white as he stares at the empty space beyond the battlements. There is no triumph in his expression, only horror. He never wanted this. And now, whether he casts the curse or not, Voldemort will believe he did. And that lie has just chained him permanently to the Dark Lord. To save you. The realization crashes into your chest so hard it hurts to breathe. You desperately want to burst through the floor, to grab him, to pull him away from the monsters surrounding him. But Snape's already moving. He grabs Draco by the shoulder and shoves him toward the exit. Out. Quickly. The Death Eaters immediately surge toward the staircase, disappearing from view a few moments later. The moment they disappear from sight, Harry is on his feet. He bolts for the stairs. Harry, wait, you gasp, scrambling after him. And down the spiral staircase is a blur of smoke, dust, and distant sounds of fighting. You burst into the corridor just in time to see Harry disappear around a corner. Shit, you hiss, sprinting after him. Your feet pound against the cold stone as you race through the halls. The air is thick with smoke and the sharp scent of spellfire. Up ahead, Harry tears through the castle without slowing, driven by pure fury. Harry, wait, you shout. He doesn't even look back. By the time you reach the entrance hall, the heavy oak doors have already been thrown open. Cold night air crashes into you. Outside, the dark mark burns above Hogwarts. Harry is already halfway across the lawn. Snape, he roars. He trusted you. The words carry across the grounds as you struggle to keep pace. Near Hagrid's cabin, dark figures move through the shadows. Death Eaters. And among them, Draco. Your heart twists. Even from a distance, he looks lost, moving beside Snape as though he's running on instinct alone. Draco. His name tears from your throat so violently it burns. The sound cuts through the chaos erupting across the grounds. The crackling flames consuming Hagrid's cabin, Harry's furious shouts, the pounding footsteps of fleeing Death Eaters. For a terrifying second, you think he doesn't hear you. Then he stops. His entire body goes rigid as though your voice has physically struck him. After a second, slowly, almost reluctantly, he turns. The world seems to slow. Moonlight spills across his face, silver and pale against the darkness surrounding him. And every carefully constructed wall he's spent months building around himself finally crumbles. There is no arrogance. No smirk. No cold indifference. No mask. Only Draco. Raw and exposed in a way you've never seen before. Pain flashes across his face first. A deep, aching pain that seems carved into his very soul. Then guilt. So much guilt that it steals the breath from your lungs. As though he blames himself for everything. For Dumbledore. For the Death Eaters. for the tears still streaming down your face, for every moment he pushed you away, for every secret. Fear follows close behind it. Not fear for himself. Fear for you. The same fear you'd seen in his eyes atop the astronomy tower. But beneath all of it, beneath the terror and guilt and heartbreak, there is something else. Something so open and vulnerable that it nearly breaks you. Love. Not hidden. Not denied. Not buried beneath excuses or distance or silence. Just love. After what seems like an eternity, his eyes find yours. And as soon as they lock with yours, everything disappears. The flames. The shouting. The dark mark hanging above Hogwarts. All of it. For one impossible moment, nothing else exists. Only you and him. Separated by distance. Separated by choices neither of you were ever meant to make. Draco stares at you as though he's trying to commit every detail to memory. The moonlight reflecting in your eyes. The tears streaming down your cheeks. The shape of your face. The sight of you standing there alive. Safe. His gaze moves over you desperately, almost hungrily, as though he's afraid this will be the last time he'll ever see you. Your heart shatters. Because you realize you're doing exactly the same thing. His lips part, and for one heartbeat, it looks as though he's about to say something. Your name. Goodbye. Anything. Everything. You find yourself taking an unconscious step toward him. But before either of you can move, before either of you can speak, a pale hand shoots out and clamps around his arm. Bellatrix. Keep moving. Her voice slices through the moment like a blade, causing Draco to visibly flinch. The spell breaks and reality crashes back all at once. The fire. The shouting. The Death Eaters. The war. Bellatrix then yanks him forward, causing him to stumble and nearly lose his footing before catching himself. Yet, even as he's forced to move, his eyes never leave yours. Not until the very last second. Not until distance finally tears the connection apart. And when he turns away, it feels as though something inside your chest is being ripped away with him. Snape! Harry shouts again, his voice tearing through the night, filled with a raw, agonizing hatred, breaking you out of your trance, your gaze landing on Harry as he races after Snape and the others. He trusted you, he screams as you run down the hill after him. Harry, you shout, trying to get his attention. He doesn't turn around. He just keeps running. That's when you see Bellatrix spin around toward you and Harry with a victorious grin on her face. Incarcerus. No, you yell, throwing out your wand. Protego. Your shield charm collides with her curse, sending a shockwave across the grass. Bellatrix's grin twists into a snarl as she turns to you. Another little Potter. Double the fun. She raises her wand again, but Snape catches her wrist. No, he says sharply. The boy belongs to the Dark Lord and the girl is to be left untouched. Go. Bellatrix glares at him for a second but obeys. Crucio. Harry roars, aiming at Snape. Snape deflects the curse with ease, causing it to hit Harry, causing him to stumble back before immediately charging forward towards Snape again. Fight back, he screams. Fight back, you coward. As soon as he says that, something flashes across Snape's face. With a sharp, furious motion of his wand, Snape unleashes a spell that strikes Harry squarely in the chest. Harry's thrown backward as though hit by a physical force, crashing hard into the ground. Harry, you shout, and without even thinking you position yourself between Harry and Snape, pointing your wand at him. Every instinct inside you is screaming the same thing. Protect him. Protect your brother. Stay away from him, you shout, your voice raw with fear and anger. Behind you, Harry groans as he struggles to push himself up from the grass. You don't dare look away. Not even for a second. Your entire focus remains fixed on the man standing before you. The fire-consuming Hagrid's cabin crackles in the distance, bathing the grounds in flickering orange light. Shadows dance across Snape's face as he slowly lowers his wand from where it had been aimed at Harry. Then his dark eyes meet yours. For a long moment, neither of you moves. Your heart pounds violently against your ribs. You tighten your grip on your wand, fully expecting him to attack. To curse you. To continue what he'd started. Instead, Snape simply stares. His chest rises and falls heavily, his expression unreadable beneath the shifting firelight. Then, slowly, his gaze drops to the wand clenched in your trembling hand. Back to your face. And for a split second, something flickers in his eyes. Something that disappears too quickly for you to understand what it was. His wand remains pointed toward you. Toward your heart. One spell. That's all it would take. The realization sends ice flooding through your veins. Yet the curse never comes. The seconds stretch unbearably. Then, without a word, Snape lowers his wand completely. You freeze. Confusion cuts through your fear. He should be attacking. He should be stopping you. But he doesn't. Instead, he tears his gaze away from yours and turns sharply on his heel. His black robes billow behind him as he strides down the hill toward Draco and the retreating Death Eaters, leaving you standing there in stunned silence. Leaving Harry alive behind you. Leaving far more questions than answers. You don't move. You can't. Your wand remains raised long after Snape turns his back on you, your arm trembling from the strain. The fire-consuming Hagrid's cabin crackles violently, sending sparks spiraling into the night sky. Behind you, Harry struggles back onto his feet. You barely hear him. Your attention is fixed entirely on the figures retreating across the grounds. Snape. Bellatrix. The other Death Eaters. And Draco. Especially Draco. The distance between you grows with every step they take. Each one feels unbearable, as though he's being pulled farther and farther beyond your reach. The orange glow from the flames dances across his pale hair, turning it almost gold for a moment. Your chest aches. You want to run after him. Merlin, you want to run after him. You want to grab his hand and refuse to let go. You want to tell him that none of this changes anything. That you understand now. That he isn't alone. But all you can do is stand there. Watch. Wait. And hurt. The Death Eaters are nearly at the edge of the grounds now. For one terrible second, you think Draco is going to disappear without looking back. Then, he slows. Just slightly. Your breath catches. As though sensing your gaze, he turns his head over his shoulder and looks at you. The world seems to stop as soon as his eyes land on you. There is only Draco. Only those familiar gray eyes finding yours across the distance. Your throat tightens painfully. He looks devastated. His gaze moves over you as though reassuring himself that you're still there. Still alive. Still safe. And suddenly, you remember every moment from the astronomy tower. His trembling wand. The tears in his eyes. The way his voice broke when he'd confessed the truth. I have to kill you, or he'll torture and kill her in front of me. A sob catches in your throat. Because now you understand something even worse. This isn't over for him. Leaving is hurting him too. His lips part slightly. For one impossible moment, it looks as though he's trying to say something. The wind steals whatever words might have come. But you see it anyway. In his eyes. In the way he's looking at you. In the heartbreaking hesitation before he turns away. I'm sorry. I love you. Goodbye. The messages seem written across his face. Then Snape reaches him. A firm hand lands on Draco's shoulder. Not rough. Not gentle. Final. Draco's eyes remain locked on yours for one last heartbeat. And then, crack. The sound explodes through the night. The space where Draco stood vanishes instantly. Empty. Gone. The darkness rushes in to fill the void he leaves behind. A second crack follows as Bellatrix and the other Death Eaters disapparate. The grounds are completely silent now. Your knees nearly buckle. A trembling breath escapes you. The ache in your chest feels unbearable. Because for the first time all night, there is no immediate danger. No spells flying through the air. No Death Eaters advancing. No desperate choices to make. Only absence. Only loss. And somehow, that hurts the most. A warm hand suddenly grips your shoulder. You flinch. Harry. You hadn't even realized he'd reached you. When you finally look at him, his face is pale beneath the glow of the burning cabin. His eyes are red. Angry. Heartbroken. Grieving. Just like yours. For a moment, neither of you speaks. Neither of you knows how. Because tonight, Hogwarts lost Dumbledore. And you. You watched the boy you love disappear into the darkness. The night feels impossibly still now. And somewhere behind the grief clawing at your chest lies the terrible reality that Albus Dumbledore is gone too. The fire from Hagrid's cabin continues to crackle in the distance, illuminating the grounds in flickering shades of orange and gold. Harry's hand remains on your shoulder. Steady. Grounding. You stare at the empty place where Draco disappeared. Half of you keeps expecting him to come back. To appear out of nowhere and tell you this was all some horrible mistake. That he isn't gone. That none of this is real. But the darkness remains empty. Your vision blurs. A tear slips down your cheek. The dam you've been desperately trying to hold together finally breaks. A broken sob escapes your lips. The sound seems to shatter whatever fragile control Harry has been clinging to as well. Because the next thing you know, Harry's arms are around you. Tight. Desperate. As though he's afraid you'll disappear too. You let out a shaky gasp and immediately throw your own arms around him. Holding on to him just as tightly. Just as desperately. Harry buries his face against your shoulder. His shoulders shake beneath your hands. The first sob tears out of him before he can stop it. You feel your own tears fall harder. "Oh, Harry," you whisper brokenly. His grip on you tightens. Almost painfully. As though he's trying to convince himself you're really there. Alive. Safe. You understand immediately. Because after everything that's happened tonight, you're doing exactly the same thing. Your fingers clutch the back of his jacket. Neither of you cares about appearances anymore. Neither of you cares who's watching. You've both lost too much. Harry's breathing becomes uneven as he presses his forehead against your shoulder. He trusted him, he chokes out. The words come out broken. Raw. Filled with disbelief. He trusted Snape. Your eyes squeeze shut and the image flashes through your mind instantly. The green light. Dumbledore falling. Snape standing there with his wand raised. "I know," you whisper. Harry lets out a strangled sound. Part laugh. Part sob. Part pure anguish. "I should have done something." The guilt in his voice is unbearable. "I should have." "No," you say, cutting him off as you pull back just enough to look at him. His glasses are crooked. Tears streak his face. His eyes are red and shining beneath the firelight. Your heart breaks all over again. "No, Harry." His jaw clenches. "I just stood there. You did what Dumbledore asked. But you did what he asked. We both did." Your voice cracks. "He made the choice, Harry." The words hurt to say. Because neither of you wants them to be true. Neither of you wants to accept that Dumbledore knew. That somehow he had known exactly where tonight was leading. Harry stares at you for a long moment. Then his composure finally shatters completely. He pulls you back into another crushing hug. You hold him immediately, one hand tangling in his messy hair, the other rubbing soothing circles across his back. Just like when you were children. Just like after nightmares. Just like after Cedric. After Sirius. After every terrible thing life had thrown at the two of you. The difference is that this time neither of you knows how to make it better. There are no comforting lies left. No promise that everything will be okay. The two of you remain there in the grass for what feels like forever. Holding on. Crying. Trying to stay standing beneath the weight of a night that has changed everything. And as Harry clings to you, mourning the man who had become a guide, a mentor, and something dangerously close to family, your own thoughts drift helplessly back to Draco. To the look on his face before he disappeared. To the tears in his eyes. To the silent goodbye neither of you had been able to say aloud. The ache in your chest sharpens. But you force yourself to push it aside for now. Because Draco may be gone. But Harry is here. Shaking in your arms. And right now, your brother needs you. So you hold him tighter. Eventually, the tears stop. Not because either of you feels better. Not because the grief has lessened. Simply because there is nothing left inside either of you to give. The numbness settles in its place. The fire at Hagrid's cabin continues to burn behind you, crackling softly in the darkness. For a long moment, you and Harry remain standing in the grass, neither of you quite ready to move. Ready to face what comes next. Because once you do, it becomes real. Dumbledore's death. Snape's betrayal. Everything. Harry is the first to break the silence. We should go back. His voice is hoarse, raw from shouting and crying. You swallow around the lump in your throat and nod. Yeah. The single word feels impossibly difficult. Harry bends down and retrieves his wand from the grass. For a moment, he simply stares at it. Then he slips it back into his pocket. When he straightens, his eyes meet yours. Neither of you says anything. There aren't enough words in the world. Instead, Harry reaches for your hand. The gesture is instinctive. The same way he'd reached for it when you were children crossing busy streets. The same way he'd reached for it during thunderstorms. The same way he'd reached for it during your first year at Hogwarts, when everything had felt overwhelming and unfamiliar. Your fingers immediately lace through his. Then together, you begin walking toward the castle. The journey feels strangely surreal. The grounds are almost silent now. Only distant voices drift through the night. Professors. Order members. Students awakening to the chaos. The dark mark still glows menacingly in the night sky. As you approach the castle doors, Harry's grip on your hand tightens. You understand why. Because neither of you wants to walk through them. Neither of you wants to see what waits on the other side. But you keep going. Together. The massive oak doors stand open. One hinge hangs slightly crooked from where the Death Eaters forced their way through earlier. The sight sends another wave of anger through you. Harry notices it too, and his jaw tightens. Neither of you comments. Slowly, you step inside. The entrance hall is eerily quiet. Usually even at night there is some sign of life. A portrait muttering to another. The distant sound of Peeves causing trouble. A prefect hurrying someone back to their dormitory. Tonight there is nothing. Only silence. Your footsteps echo across the stone floor as you and Harry make your way through the castle. The familiar corridors suddenly feel different. Too large. Too empty. As though Hogwarts itself is mourning. Torchlight flickers against ancient stone walls. Long shadows stretch across the floor. The portraits lining the corridors are awake now. Many of them stand gathered inside their frames, watching, whispering. Some have tears in their eyes. Others simply look stunned. The fat friar bows his head as you pass. Sir Cadogan removes his helmet. Even the ghosts seem subdued. Nearly headless Nick drifts silently through a nearby wall, his usually cheerful expression absent. Nobody stops you. Nobody speaks. Everyone knows. Everyone has already heard. The news has spread through the castle like wildfire. Dumbledore is dead. The thought twists painfully inside your chest. Beside you, Harry lowers his gaze toward the floor. You can see him struggling. Every corridor holds memories. Every classroom. Every staircase. Years of guidance. Years of advice. Years of knowing that Dumbledore was always there. Watching. Protecting. Believing in him. Now that certainty is gone. Harry glances toward you. For a moment, the grief in his green eyes is almost unbearable. Yet some of the tension leaves his shoulders when he sees you there. Still beside him. The two of you continue walking. Past darkened classrooms. Past windows where moonlight spills across the floor in silver pools. The castle seems frozen in time. Morning. Remembering. Eventually, you reach the staircase leading down toward the courtyard. Neither of you slows. Neither of you lets go. The sounds reach you before the courtyard comes into view. Soft voices. Quiet crying. Murmured prayers. The shuffle of footsteps. Your stomach knots immediately. Then together, you step into the courtyard. The sight steals the breath from your lungs. Students and professors stand gathered in silence beneath the night sky. Some are crying openly. Others stare numbly ahead. Professor McGonagall stands near the center of the crowd, her face pale and drawn. Professor Flitwick's eyes are red. Professor Sprout has one hand pressed against her mouth. Members of the Order stand nearby. Remus Lupin. Nymphadora Tonks. Kingsley Shacklebolt. Each wearing the same expression. Grief. The crowd parts the moment they notice you and Harry. Nobody says a word. Nobody has to. A path opens before you, leading straight toward the center of the courtyard, toward the figure lying motionless on the stone. Harry's grip on your hand trembles. You feel it immediately. The reality of what waits ahead crashing into him all over again. Into both of you. Without a word, you squeeze his hand, silently reassuring him that you're going to be right beside him the entire time, no matter what. Harry hesitates for another couple of seconds before walking into the courtyard, with you walking right beside him. As you and Harry walk through the crowd, faces blur together as you pass. And then you see him. Albus Dumbledore lies motionless on the stone. His silver hair fans around him, his spectacles slightly askew. For a fleeting moment he looks as though he might simply be sleeping. But he isn't. A strangled sob escapes Harry as the two of you reach the middle of the courtyard. He lets go of your hand, stepping forward before dropping to his knees, collapsing beside Dumbledore. Professor, he chokes out as he clutches Dumbledore's robes, pressing a shaking hand against his own face. The sight breaks your heart as you step forward, kneeling down next to him. Tears blur your vision as a fresh wave of grief crashes over you. And beneath it lies another fear. Draco. Somewhere beyond Hogwarts, he's walking away with Death Eaters toward a future neither of you can see. The thought makes your stomach twist. A moment passes before you see Ginny step forward and kneel beside Harry, wrapping an arm around his shoulders. Harry leans into her without protest as he sobs next to you. After a long moment, Professor McGonagall steps forward and raises her wand. A brilliant white light blooms from its tip. Soon dozens of wands are lifted toward the sky. One by one, the courtyard fills with light. With a sniffle, you raise your own wand. The white glow joins the others until the darkness is pierced by hundreds of shining lights. Then, high above the castle, the dark mark begins to change. The green skull and serpent waver. Slowly, the symbol dissolves into drifting fragments before disappearing altogether. The stars emerge overhead once more. You stare up at them through tear-filled eyes. The dark mark is gone. But the emptiness remains. As the light illuminates the faces around you, you're painfully aware of who isn't here. Harry is beside you. Ron and Hermione stand right behind you. The professors and the Order remain gathered around Dumbledore. But Draco is gone. Somewhere beyond the castle walls, he's moving farther away with every passing minute. Your grip tightens around your wand. Dumbledore is gone. And for the first time, the thought settles heavily in your chest. Draco is facing what's coming alone. A few minutes pass before the white lights hovering above the raised wands begin to fade, disappearing one by one until the courtyard is swallowed by darkness once more. An uneasy silence settles over Hogwarts. The loss of Albus Dumbledore hangs over the castle like a shadow. For several moments, the crowd remains frozen. Then Professor McGonagall lowers her wand. She looks at Dumbledore's body, draws a steadying breath, and addresses the students. Students, please return to the castle and your dormitories. At first, no one moves. Gradually, the professors begin guiding everyone back inside. The crowd disperses slowly. One by one, the courtyard empties. Yet Harry remains exactly where he is. Still kneeling beside Dumbledore. Still staring at him. Ginny stays beside him for a while before finally rising. As she passes, she places a gentle hand on your shoulder. You meet her eyes. No words are needed. Then she follows the others into the castle. Soon, only you, Harry, and Dumbledore remain. The courtyard feels vast and empty. Smoke still lingers in the air. Slowly, you move closer and wrap your arms around Harry. At first, he goes rigid. Then the tension leaves him all at once. He turns and buries his face against your shoulder, gripping your sweater. He's gone, he whimpers. The words are barely audible. He's really gone, YN. I know, you whisper as his shoulders shake beneath your hands. You hold him a little tighter. I've got you. After that, neither of you speaks. There is nothing left to say. You simply sit together on the cold stone beside Dumbledore, sharing the weight of a loss neither of you is ready to carry. Tonight, Harry isn't the chosen one. He isn't a hero. He's just your brother. And right now, that's all that matters.